Chris, don't watch this. No! See, this is also a really bad part, but it's not bad. It's being able to have the awareness to look honestly at yourself and look at your shadow sides as well, because your birth chart will show you things that you don't want to see in yourself and that you actively try to stay away from.
You look tan.
I look native as fuck right now.
Well, that's because I'm super pale.
I know. I'm like, oh man, I'm so dark. Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To us.
To us. To your special cherry juice. Just the tartest juice that like gets your saliva going so much. Hi guys! For those of you that are brand new to my channel, welcome and hello. My name is Brittany, and for those of you that kind of tune into my channel a lot, welcome, and I'm so excited for the video that we're going to be recording today. I'm here with my girlfriend Hannah. She is a certified astrologer, and she is a huge reason that I'm as into astrology as I am. I've taken 3 astrology classes with you and a numerology class as well. What we're going to be doing is kind of demystifying a birth chart today, and we're going to be looking at my birth chart, and I am going to be telling you guys a lot of the ways that these different aspects of my personal chart, the way that they look for me in my real life, so that you can kind of just witness somebody's story, and hopefully this answers a lot of questions for you. And if at the end of the video you do still have questions for either myself or Hannah, please by all means leave them in the comment section down below.
All right, let's do this.
Let's do it. So do you want to give these guys a little bit of a background on kind of like who you are, how you got into this, and why you think that astrology is important?
Sure. So hi guys, I'm Hannah, and I was born in Germany. I came to America when I was 22 years old, just following my heart. And it got me into a crazy, amazing trip, which resulted then in getting into the spiritual realm of first starting with tarot and then with astrology. And since I started that practice of regular tarot readings and astrology readings and helping people and finding their purpose and, you know, finding deeper meaning in challenging situations, and since I've been doing that for others and for myself, this is amazing. This is such an amazing tool. It's not something that, oh my god, you can't be spiritual without it, obviously, but it's just such a great tool to dive deep into spirituality and to really dive deeply into your soul and really knowing, like, okay, what are my talents? What is it that I'm meant to do in this lifetime? What is it that gives me blessings? What are my challenges? What makes me grow? And also, of course, if you want to do it with other people, the relationship with other people, that's really interesting, of like, what are the energies that you're creating together and how are you working together? It's been transforming for me, and it's been transforming for a lot of my clients and you know, a lot of my friends. So I'm just like, I want to, you know, be able to promote that, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
So I'm having a bit of a surreal experience even right now, just like listening, because this woman has been so pivotal on my whole journey, just really being able to witness and have these women like gracefully make their ways into my life and, you know, teach me these lessons and show me these practices, and also just being able to witness someone who's really able to stand embodied in these gifts and talents, the way that I believe that each of us is blessed with some innate ability that only we can deliver to the world exactly as we can deliver it. And just sitting here listening to her, I was like, wow, I have a YouTube channel and I'm talking to people all the time, and you know, for some reason people are interested in this stuff more and more, and people are waking up and discovering that just the way that we have these physical attributes, so many millions of physical attributes about ourselves, our subconscious mind is the exact same way. It's just as intricate. And what is it that Michael Singer says? We may as well all be identical twins on the outside compared to how radically individual each of us is on the inside. This has to do with, you know, the outside circumstances that your family brought you into and the way that you are genetically, your energetic DNA on the inside in the first place. Just like every single situation that's happened to you has formed and shaped exactly who you are. And we've picked up a lot of, you know, subconscious conditioned patterns from our childhoods as well. And astrology is like a really beautiful tool that we can use to demystify these things and these aspects about ourselves so that we can really start sitting with ourselves and saying, okay, what kind of change do I really want to see in my life? And it gives you a little roadmap on how to do that. So let's get into it. I'm so excited.
Let's do it.
I'm going to give my birth information, and if you would like to look up my chart, you can kind of follow along, so I'm going to list it down below. I was born on May 21st, 1989 at 9:15 a.m. and I was born in Las Vegas, Nevada. So you're able to look up free birth charts on astro.com and also cafeastrology.com. I'll list those down below as well. And you can also look up your own birth chart there, and I definitely recommend contacting Hannah for a birth chart reading because it's not going to make any sense whatsoever if you don't have someone who's learned and practiced in these arts and sciences.
Yeah, it is both. It is an intuitive science. Okay. Ancient science. Okay, so we see here the Earth is in the middle, and surrounding it are the planets. So each of these hieroglyphs, basically, each of these symbols are representing the planets that were in this position at the moment of your birth. So these symbols around it is the zodiac sign. So it's from Aries until Pisces. The normal horoscopes and astrology that usually people know is the sun sign astrology. So it's only like, oh, you're a Gemini, I'm a Leo, so we're all the same. And that's I think where people kind of lose the belief in astrology because they think, wait, it doesn't really make sense. Like I'm born the same day as my grandma was, and I'm like, I'm not like my grandma. Like yeah, okay, you have a few
There's
a
so
few
many
similarities,
factors.
but you know, and then you think, oh, you know, astrology is not real because, you know, I can't see that me being the same as everyone else born in August. This birth chart shows that that is not the case. Like every one of us has a sun sign, yes, but also Moon and Venus and Mercury and Mars and so on. So we have really, the birth chart shows all of these little facets of yourself and little assets of yourself. So yeah, let's get started. This is your chart. So we see here the Sun is conjunct Mercury, and it is in Gemini. It is right on the 0 degree between Taurus and Gemini. Makes you a cusp person. And it also shows, usually people that are on the cusp have to like implement two personalities into one, which makes it, of course, since you're a Gemini, you have the double choose the duality in you. So there is something where you have to, you know, combine two relatively different personalities within you that you combine into this beautiful
in order to
personality
feel
that you
like
have.
really fulfilled
Exactly.
and just like really like I'm embodying the person in my truest self.
Exactly.
I think that a really cool way, and I love that I've had this YouTube channel now too for a few months because I've shown and I've shared my processes and my practices that I've utilized in learning that I had major instability around grounding myself to this earth. And I've always told people for years, I know that I'm a Taurus Gemini cusp, but I never used to resonate with the Taurus energy at all. And in this elemental astrology, which is what Hannah kind of specializes in, Taurus is an earth sign, which is that that groundedness that I never resonated with. So if you haven't seen my Witness Crystal Healing video, I'll leave it in the description section down below. But what I really go over there is how I stumbled upon all of my instabilities with grounding and the ways that I was able to start building that vibration up inside of myself so that I could really start getting connected and not be so in my head filled with thought all the time, and really start grounding myself to like the world around me. So that's cool.
Yes. So you basically brought in that Taurus aspect more into your life, which made it easier to really fulfill your highest potential in the end. And that's what the birth chart does. It's not, you know, it's going to show you some talents and some strengths that you have, and you may not notice, and you may not have discovered it yet in your lifetime. But it shows the highest potential of what you can achieve in this lifetime. So for you, what is just like jumping out of the page is your God's finger. And the God's finger is a constellation in astrology that gives us a special mission in life. So every one of us has a special mission. We all have a soul's purpose that we're following. But with the God's finger, it's like a mission that you're meant to serve others in that way, and it also gives you more of an urge to do it in this lifetime. It's because it is here, you see the green lines coming down. The green lines kind of show like there are adjustments and a little bit of troubles with that relationship. So there is something inside of you that gives you troubles and challenges constantly, but at the same time pushes you towards your purpose and towards fulfilling your mission. If you just let it be and you're not following your heart and really following that mission that you're meant to do, you feel imbalanced and that something feels wrong, and that's the God's finger that shows like, this is the urge, you gotta do this.
This is the path.
This is the path. And the cool thing is with astrology, there are many ways of doing these things, because all these symbols, Venus represents several different things, Jupiter represents several different things. It's more like a symbol science. That's why it's an intuitive science, because it gives you the ability to choose which one of these paths you're going towards. Jupiter can be about teaching, it can be also traveling, or it can be spiritual, it could be astral travel. So it's like all these different things, and you can do all of them at the same time. So with your God's finger, let's start with the Pluto here. So the Pluto is on this side, and then we have Saturn and Neptune on the other side, and they're both connected with a blue line. That means that they're in sextile to each other, which is an aspect in astrology that shows a talent. Pluto is in your fourth house, the house of home and family, and Pluto is the planet of transformation. Pluto is retrograde here in your chart, which means it is an inner transformation. So there's a lot of inner transformation happening in relation to your home and to your family. Those things are all part of your mission. So you know, okay, all these dramas are happening for a reason, or all these challenges, or all these transformations that I'm going through at home or in family surroundings are happening to push me towards my mission.
I think really quick that it's funny, I wasn't into astrology whenever I first got into the house that I'm in now, but I was looking for the perfect house for like 7 months. My partner and I were just going around looking at houses, looking at apartments, trying to find the perfect thing, and he was so exasperated with me, just like, come on, like we have to do this. You're never gonna find the perfect home. But when we went and looked at the house that we were at right now, the homeowners had just lowered the rent by a few $100s. We were the first people to go and see it. And the moment that I walked into that house, I was just like, okay, do you guys have any questions for us? Because we're going to apply for this house the moment that we leave you guys. It was like, everything was perfect about it. There was so much color and texture and vibrancy and character to the house. And so much radical transformation has happened to both of us within that house. And I just think that so many things in my birth chart have been this like real testament to me in my life. Just like, oh yeah, well that makes sense. That's why I have such loyalty to these practices that really speak to me, because you just can't, the things are too uncanny to just, you know, shove off and be like, oh, it's coincidence. Like, no, it's not coincidence. This shit is real. Okay, keep going.
So we have, on the other side here, we have Pluto in the house of home and family, and then you have Saturn and Neptune in your house of work and daily routine. So Saturn is the planet of discipline and focus, and Neptune is the planet of spirituality and arts. So both of those are very much important in your mission. So Saturn gives you the discipline for a daily routine, the discipline to stay healthy, to take care of your body. So this is the Saturn that plays a big part in your life and in your mission. And it is connected with the planet of spirituality and arts. So there's also the need for a daily spiritual practice or a monthly spiritual practice that you do with moon ceremonies. So basically you can bring your transformations into your daily routine, and your daily routines are transforming you in return.
Yep, I vote yes. See, and it's funny though, because it seems like that would be that way for everyone, right? Like spiritual practice feeds you so much, and that's what keeps so many people coming back to their spiritual practice. So in terms of like playing devil's advocate for people that really like to sort of say that everything is so general like that, what would you have to say about that?
Well, I mean, for everyone, yeah, spiritual practice is a great tool, obviously, to advance and have a soul evolution and just be more connected to your deeper self. But for you specifically, if you don't have it, it gives you burdens. It gives you really strong feelings of restrictions and doubts and fears and anxiety and all of that, because you have Saturn in there, and Saturn is really, you can call him a dark teacher in a way that if you do not follow
shit could hit the fan.
Yeah. So, you know, wherever you have Saturn, if you don't like put focus and discipline into that area in your life, you will feel very burdened. So for you, it's just a little touch more extreme in that way. So it's really something where, you know, not everyone has a spiritual practice or a regular daily practice in a way that you are meant to have it in your life.
So I just am kind of like reconnecting that's all in Capricorn as well, which is another earth sign. So I wonder if maybe all of the grounding practices that I've been doing with the Taurus energy have been also helping me so much with being able to understand the connectedness between the discipline that I absolutely have to have, otherwise I start going off the rails, because Capricorn energy is not usually one that I necessarily resonate with at all.
It is interesting that you say that, because Capricorn is actually what you're looking for in a relationship. That's what you can see here in the DC. The AC is Cancer. This is your rising sign, is in Cancer. And then on the other side is DC, and that is what you're looking for in a relationship partner and how you are in relationships. So what that does is, for example, since Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, what you're looking for in a relationship and how you are with a relationship partner, you have very high expectations.
Oh no, Curtis, don't watch this. No! See, this is also a really bad part, but it's not bad. It's being able to have the awareness to look honestly at yourself and look at your shadow sides as well, because your birth chart will show you things that you don't want to see in yourself and that you actively try to stay away from. And this is as big of a part of soul evolution, being able to take the bad with the good.
Yes, because in those shadow parts of us, that's where we actually have a lot of strength, and then if we really embrace those inside of us, what we're usually afraid of is actually where we're meant to go towards.
Wow, that was a really hard one to hear just now, literally. I'm like starting to sweat and stuff.
Alright, you ready for more?
Yeah, I'm ready for more.
With the God's finger here that you have the transformation at home, you got the discipline. And so if you put that all together, the energies go all into that focal point up there. And in your case, you have two focal points, and that is Venus and Jupiter in your 11th house, which is the house of community and friends and future goals. So Venus stands for beauty, arts, women, harmony, and Jupiter stands for spiritual teachings, travel, mind expansion, another thing. So anything that is expanding you and it's growing. So it's connected with, your spiritual experience is connected, like deeply connected with women. So your soul's purpose is to bring women and feminine energies together in a group of spiritual gatherings. And all of this stuff, like all the transformations and all the discipline and the arts and spirituality is all coming together for you to really teach women about spirituality, bring them together. And the 11th house is also the house of social media and the internet.
Imagine that. YouTube.
So yes, you are, you're fulfilling already your mission, and you can feel it inside of you, and everyone can see it, how glowing you are. So that's part of it, you know, when you know, okay, so this is my mission, you can embrace it more. And if you weren't on that path yet, you could be like, oh, so this is what I'm meant to do. And then you get into that, and then you feel, oh, this feels so right, this feels so true to myself.
I feel like so many of the time when I'm listening to great spiritual teachers that I admire, so much of the same message continues to come through, which is that you don't ever play it for the end game. You don't ever create some sort of expectation for where it is that you think that you're gonna go. And I've mentioned this on my YouTube channel before, because whenever you're going just little step by little step and being able to truly allow yourself to be guided and opening yourself to all of the light and the darkness that comes along with spiritual practice and really working those things inside of your life, usually universe is going to provide you with something that is so much more magical and incredible than you could ever possibly imagine for yourself. And a lot of times people will start to come into your life that you don't even know are going to come into your life to teach you specific things and to give you specific guidance in the way that you need, because universe knows what you need is not always what you want or what you think you want or in the time that you think that you want it. Yeah, I've spoken on this testament quite a few times, just the people that have come into my life that totally like reveal to me, it's like they shine a light on a path that I never even knew was there, and then I'm like, oh, that's the perfect path for this time and place. And then it just leads you someplace that you can never even imagine. So I think that that's really important to kind of touch on. And if you at all throughout this video have any questions, maybe even writing them down or writing them in the comment section as this video goes along, because these ideas are a lot. They're a lot to think about for sure. Yeah, I think all of these things are just dawning on me right now too, because I've never had just like a straight up birth chart reading with Hannah before. You know, we've spent so much time together and she's looked at different aspects of my birth chart so many times, but I'm just having all of this dawn on me as well. And I think it's a beautiful testament to the way that I've been sharing myself on social media and this journey that I've been on for the last 2 years. Between various platforms on Instagram and sharing more in depth here on YouTube, and it's just a really cool thing, and I do totally resonate with everything that you're saying, so.
Yes, I think, you know, just being open, like you said, just being like an open vessel to spirit just coming through you. It's going to automatically guide you towards your mission. But with astrology, if you know your birth chart, you can help a little bit in that matter and just feel more secure with it as well when you are on your journey and you know, like, oh yeah, this is what I'm meant to do. And if people give you, like, you know, give you shit about it or like you know, there are always going to be people that are going to be haters and are going to not like you following your heart, but then you know your birth chart and you're not, no, I'm meant to do this. Like, this is my talent. I'm meant to go this path. And it gives you so much more power and courage to truly just follow your heart and listen to your inner guidance, because that's the true spiritual teacher that is within you.
I feel like this is something that took me I think this is why the expansion has been so rapid the last 2 years, because I finally got a taste of truth, and the moment that I got a taste of truth, I was just like, oh, I'm going all the way now, because I had so many years of really severe bullying when all I wanted was really sincere friendship as a child. And I always had that really aware and conscious mind that even as I was getting thrown in trash cans as a kid, I was like, why is this happening to me? School after school after school that I go to, there must be something wrong with me. And then, you know, the way that my modeling career took off, and a lot of times I took international trips that I totally didn't feel were going to be right for me on my soul's path, but that was the time where so many people around me were saying, oh, you just fake it till you make it. Like, what do you expect life to be? Just like, you know, the best thing ever all the time? Like, no, you have to go make it happen for yourself. And sometimes that means doing things that you don't necessarily feel are great or are going to be beneficial for you in the long run. And that's why I would go out and do, you know, these things that didn't feel true to who I was. And that's what led me into a huge identity crisis. And the moment that I started tasting truth on my yoga teacher training, I was just like, okay, this is the first real thing that I felt in my life. And now I was so thirsty for 26 years of my life. I was so thirsty and I didn't know what I was thirsty for. So the moment that I got that clarity, that first taste of clarity, and I started to feel the strength that was within me that was so small and starving, it's just been a total rapid expansion from there. And that's why I feel so passionately about this, because I know that there are so many people out there that are going through so many struggles and they feel so alone, because I've been there. And now I'm just like, I just want to hold hands with you and love you every day and let you know that you're not alone. Okay.
And those struggles too, just want to add this is actually part of your God's finger, because it is in the house of friends. And the focal point gets a lot of pressure from the other planets. So at first, when we don't really know how to, you know, figure out our birth chart and how to really put all our talents together into what we're meant to do, it's bringing us challenges, and it will consistently bring us challenges, because that's the fun part of life. But especially here with the God's finger, it brings you a lot of challenges in the realm of friends, and it brings you challenges in the realm of female friends as well. So there is something where it was you were meant to feel that way. You were meant to feel like an outsider. You were meant to feel like you can't really connect with women, because that gives you, again, the passion to do what you're doing now. Without that whole past of bullying, you wouldn't be who you are now.
I think that's such a cool thing, because so many people have regrets about their past, or they wish that it would have been different, but I could truly not feel less like that at all, because even a year ago, when I was still crying myself to sleep, wanting female friends so much, I felt so alone and so lonely and so unlikable, because I didn't have friends, that I thought that there was something really wrong with me. And it was only when I really started being able to sit in those shadows and being able to really be like, oh wow, why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel unlovable? And that's when all of my past stuff came up of hardship with bullying that I had never learned the lesson from and been able to let go of, and truly forgive the things that had happened, and have the wherewithal within me to say, oh, they happened for a reason. I'm on my right path. This is only making me stronger to go up from here. And yeah, these are the kind of things that spiritual practice will illuminate for you if you're willing to go into those really dark and painful shadows. I mentioned on my Instagram story a few days ago that I feel like this really has been a process of unlearning and almost like breaking down the foundation that I had built for myself that was so made up of like fears and judgments and just so many negative things that I thought were necessary in order to live life. It's been totally getting back down to a foundation to where now I feel so ready and open to start building up a brand new, big, beautiful foundation that's full of love and awareness and expansion and caring for myself in such a different way than I ever used to or ever knew how to. And these spiritual practices have given me that that courage, I guess. That courage, the understanding to really be like, oh, okay, I know that I wasn't on my path before, but now I'm on my path, so let's go.
But even the times when you're not on your path, you're still on your path, because those times are the times where you can actually relate to other people. Imagine you were on your path since the beginning of life. It would be hard to relate to people that have anxiety, that are going through depression, that are getting bullied, you know, like just being able to relate to those feelings inside and what it does within you. You know it firsthand because you've been through it. So that makes it easier for you to fulfill your mission in the end. And also what you're saying, the transformation of your foundation, it's very interesting that you say that crumbling that down, because that's very much Pluto right there. And it is in your house of home and family, which is also the foundation of your life. So there will be a constant transformation of your foundation throughout your life. But it is about how you deal with it and how you see it. Do you see it as something, oh, the universe is conspiring in my favor? Or do you see something as, I'm a victim of all these drama and challenges? And now let's go into your moon sign. And your moon sign is actually connected with your rising sign. So we can actually do both of them at the same time. Because your rising sign is in Cancer, and Cancer is ruled by the moon. So the moon is your planetary ruler, your chart ruler in life. So what that means, whatever your chart ruler is, you basically go through these changes according to where this planet is at this point. How you see the world, how you perceive the world, through which glasses you are looking at the world. You look through the world through Cancer, and Cancer is a nurturing sign, sensitive sign, but very intuitive. It's a cardinal water sign, which is very powerful, emotional energy. So you're able to really put a lot of emotion into whatever you're doing. It's the sign of the mother, so it's the mothering of like really giving emotional support to others, but also giving birth to projects that you really put all your love into. And for you personally, since your moon is in the 5th house, those are especially creative projects that you're putting your love into. And any projects that put you on stage. It's the 5th house of fun, romance, creative self-expression, and children. So really connecting with that inner child within you, finding time to play, that is what makes you truly happy. And moon and Sagittarius, so what the moon is the energy that makes us feel comfortable in who we are, where we are at, that makes us feel loved and supported. Whereas the sun sign is more just the energy that we send out into the world, how we shine our light. So the moon is more like how we reflect and what we need to really feel comfortable in this realm. And for you, it is in the creative self-expression. And it's in Sagittarius, which is the wild woman. Really the connection with nature, with animals, with spirituality, traveling, and just, being free and being an innocent child in nature. That's what's truly filling your heart with love, and that's also what is giving you a lot of the creative aspects and creative tools.
Yeah, like forward movement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's funny because anytime, like Sagittarius is another one that I've never really felt resonated with me at all. It's a fire sign, and my mom is actually a Sagittarius, and that confused me even more because she's someone that I like totally don't feel like embodies her a lot of aspects in her natal chart, but that's a totally separate thing.
And interesting too, your mom is Sagittarius and the moon is also standing for your mom. So it is perfect in your chart that she
I think it's
embodies
cool too,
the Sagittarius energy for you.
And since her sun is in Sagittarius and mine's in Gemini and they're directly opposite each other, what I've always associated that with is that I have a lot of lessons to learn from her and she also has lessons to learn from me. Can you speak on the planets that were in retrograde at the time of my birth? Because I was pretty surprised to see that 5 of them were retrograde at that time, and I think in the astrology lesson that I took with you where I learned that, it was just another one of those like light bulb moments that I was like, oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense that that's true, because I've always felt that I was like a little bit different in terms of learning and expressing myself. And even now, that's kind of why I feel like this, soul's purpose for me is so much about communication on spirituality, because I've learned things in a really specific way, and I feel like my ability to communicate them is growing all the time, and I just feel really connected with that.
Yeah, so you have your Mercury is retrograde, your Saturn is retrograde, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, so you have 5 retrograde planets. When we have a retrograde planet, it's an archetypal energy, so the energies, and we have all the energies within us, but you specifically receive your Mercury energy from within instead of necessarily from the outside, because it is in retrograde. So there is a lot of your learning is different from the Mercury direct way of learning, and in our school system it's only about Mercury direct. It's all about reading and learning from books and
just super literal ways that are really defined.
Yeah, and Mercury retrograde feels out what it's learning. So it is important for a retrograde Mercury to be involved with the senses, or to just be able to make it something practical, or to really intuitively be able to connect with it in order to understand it and keep that information within. The same here with your discipline, like with Saturn in the 6th house, it's within you, so it is something. It's also the house of health, so it shows, especially in the beginning parts, there can be like troubles with health for your life, because that discipline of the daily routine, if you're not going into that and if you're not bringing that into your life, you take it within you. So so it's like the burden is not just from the outside on your shoulders and of like responsibilities, but it's also really deeply within you.
Dope. Get dope.
Yeah, so, and I mean, there's so much more to say, and we could talk about this all day, seriously. And actually, like, still, when I look at my birth chart, I still see new aspects pretty much every day, I would say, like every time I look at it, because there's just so much, and you can go super duper deep. But we're trying to keep this a little simpler. I'm not sure if we managed to do that, but at least a little bit where it's like, okay, these are like the main parts. There's much more to it too, like your North Node, super interesting part, like your soul's purpose, that every one of us has a specific soul's purpose, and the more we go into that, and it's especially the part that we're scared of, which is really interesting about that. So it's usually something that we're super afraid of, and we try to just be like in our self node, in our comfort zone. But the more we actually reach out to our North Node, the more we feel fulfilled, and the more blessings are just coming out on our path, because that is how our soul grows in this lifetime.
I think also the Chiron has been something that just totally captivates, and even recently I found myself going and looking into my Rolodex of natal charts that I have, and looking at everyone's soul's Chiron, which is referred to as the wounded healer. Like the place where we've experienced the most hurt and like pain in our lives is through that transformation of healing, the way that we're able to help others like the most in the world. And it's
like
just
Rumi said, the wound is where the light enters.
And there's just so many things. I really hope that you guys have been able to maybe have some of your questions answered, or at the very, very least being able to see something that is totally outside of myself and hearing me explain what it looks like in my own life. Since I only got into astrology about a year ago, for me, it was the biggest weight that was lifted off my shoulders when I really discovered astrology and started demystifying these aspects of my own birth chart, because a lot of times we can feel like we're broken. We can feel like, why do we make these same decisions all the time? Why do I do this? Why do I act this way? Why do I make decisions in this way time after time after time? And having something that is totally outside of you, you just like enter these, digits that can't be made up, and you see something completely outside of yourself that describes you to a T and better than you even know half the time, is just so, it separates you completely, and you can have a huge, big breath of fresh air and say, oh my gosh, okay, cool, like this is just who I am, and I can work with it. And I don't always have to make these decisions, and I'm able to, adapt practices into my life so that I can feel more balanced in my day-to-day life and feel more connected to myself and have some kind of path that I'm trying to go down.
Yes.
Even like picking partners and seeing why, maybe you pick the same kind of failing relationships, or seeing the troubles that you have with members of your family or with yourself. This is just really, really cool stuff for people that are looking for more answers. So, for the people that are looking for more answers, perfect segue, how can they get a hold of you?
Well, you can contact me on, you can just send me an email at ask@hannahchristiansen.com, or check out my website, hannahchristiansen.com. And yeah, or write to Brittany, write in the comment sections, just let us know whatever your questions are, and we're happy to answer them.
So happy to answer them. And also Hannah has been so gracious to offer me a, 10%? 15%? 15, guys. 15% off natal chart reading. She does a ton of like private phone call appointments and also on Skype, depending on what it is that you want to do. And I'm going to include that little code right down here. And if you don't have Hannah's social media already, it is also right here. So go ahead and add right there. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or anything whatsoever, please let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, if you have any ideas on upcoming topics or episodes that you'd like to see here, please let me know those as well. Otherwise, thank you so, so much for tuning in today. This was such a blast. And I hope you have a really beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.
Namaste. Yay, that was good. Emma just woke up.
I know, I was like, perfect, yay! That's so fun too, because when you say some of the things, I was caught off like, oh no, it's just like those things that you like don't want to admit to yourself, but are like such struggles.
Yes, but then if you admit to it and then you face those shadows, you're like, that's actually pretty cool that I have that, because I can like use that for your strengths, And that's the best thing. If you can use your shadows, you're whole.
Hi, baby.
And that's when.
You're just giving me smiles. You're giving me smiles.
Good girl.
It's Brittany. You're giving me smiles. You've got such a cute little dimple.